You did it. Your offer was accepted. You're officially in escrow. Everyone around you is saying congratulations, your family is excited, your friends are asking when the housewarming party is. But inside, you might be feeling something a little different. Maybe it's excitement mixed with anxiety. Maybe it's pure panic. You're thinking, wait, what exactly just happened? What do I do right now? What if something goes wrong? I hear this from every single first-time buyer I work with. And I'm here to tell you that feeling is completely normal. Escrow can feel like a black box. A lot is happening behind the scenes. And if no one explains it to you, it can feel overwhelming. So today we're going through the entire escrow process, step by step, in plain English, so you know exactly what's happening, what you need to do, and what to expect every single day until you're holding your keys. Let's get into it. Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm Rosi Agopian, real estate broker with Beverly & Company Luxury Properties. If you're new here, welcome. This is part 4 of my First-Time Homebuyer Series. And honestly, this might be the most important episode yet. If you missed parts 1, 2, and 3, I'll link them all in the description below. Part 1 was all about getting your finances and pre-approval in order. Part 2 was about how to shop smart and tour homes the right way. And part 3 covers how to write a strong competitive offer. Today, your offer has been accepted, and now we're going to talk about everything that happens between congratulations, you're in escrow, and here are your keys. This is a big one, so grab a coffee, get comfortable, and let's walk through this together. What is escrow, and how does it work? Before we dive into the steps, let me make sure we're all clear on what escrow actually is. Because a lot of people hear the word and nod like they understand it, but they're not totally sure. Escrow is a neutral third party whose job is to hold all the money, all the documents, and all the instructions until every single condition of a sale has been met. Think of escrow as the referee of your transaction. They don't work for you. They don't work for the seller. They work for the deal. Their job is to make sure that when the dust settles, the seller gets their money and you get your home safely, legally, and cleanly. Here's how it works in a nutshell. The buyer deposits the money into escrow. The lender sends the loan funds to escrow. The escrow officer prepares all the legal documents. Once everything is signed, funded, and verified, escrow pays the seller, records the deed in your name, and hands you the keys. In California, standard escrow typically takes 21 to 30 days, but it can be shorter. Sometimes it's 15 days for a cash purchase, or longer, sometimes 45 days, depending on your loan type and the complexity of the transaction, or negotiations along the way. The moment your offer is accepted, that escrow clock starts ticking. And there's a lot that needs to happen in those 30 days. So let's walk through it all together. Step 1, open escrow and wire your earnest money deposit right here. The very first thing that happens after your offer is accepted is that escrow is officially opened. Your agent, that's me, I coordinate with the listing agent to select the escrow company, and we send over your signed purchase agreement to get things started. Almost immediately, you'll be asked to wire your earnest money deposit. Also, it's called EMD. Your EMD is typically 3% of a purchase price. So on $1 million home, that's $30,000. This money goes into the escrow account as a good faith deposit. It tells the seller we are serious, we are committed. Now, here's something I want to be clear about, and I cannot stress this enough. This money is not lost. It goes towards your down payment and closing costs at the end of escrow. You're not spending extra money, you're just sending it early. However, and this is critical, wire transfer fraud is real and it happens more than you think. Criminals have been known to hack into real estate email chains and send fake wiring instructions pretending to be the escrow company. Buyers have lost tens of thousands of dollars this way. Here's what you do. Before you wire a single dollar, call your escrow officer directly and verbally confirm every digit of the wiring instructions. Then wire the money and call again to confirm it was received. It takes 5 extra minutes and it could save you a lot of money. Please do not skip this step. Step 2, the inspection period. Okay, your EMD is in. Now we move into what consider the most important phase of escrow, your inspection period. In California, the standard inspection contingency period is 17 days from the date your offer was accepted. That sounds like a lot, but trust me, it goes fast. The very first thing you want to do is schedule your general home inspection. This is a licensed inspector who spends 2 to 4 hours going through every inch of that home. The roof, the condition, the plumbing, the electrical panel, the HVAC system, the water heater, the windows, doors, attic, and crawl space, everything. At the end, they give you a detailed written report with photos. And let me tell you, no house is perfect. Every inspection report has something in it. Don't panic when you see a long list. What we're looking for is the big things: structural issues, major roof problems, electrical hazards, plumbing failures. Depending on the property and the report, you may also want to order additional specialized inspections. Roof inspection, especially important if the general inspector flagged any concerns about the roof. Sewer line inspection. This one is often overlooked and so important, especially in older homes. A camera goes through the sewer line and checks for cracks, root intrusions, or blockages. A sewer repair can cost $5,000 to $20,000, worth every penny to know in advance. Pest inspection, also called a termite report. In California, this is extremely common and often required by lenders. It checks for termite damage, dry rot, and other wood-destroying organisms. Chimney inspection, if the home has a fireplace. Pool inspection, if there's a pool or spa. Foundation inspection, if the general inspector has any concerns. Now, here's what we do. With all this information, after we receive the inspection reports, we sit down together and go through them line by line. Then we have several options. Option 1, we send the seller a request for repair, asking them to fix specific items before closing. Option 2, we ask for a price reduction or credit in lieu of repairs. This is actually my preferred approach in most cases. It's cleaner, faster, and puts the control in your hands. Option 3, if something truly catastrophic comes up, something that changes the entire value or safety of the home, you have the right to cancel the contract and get your full deposit back. That's what the inspection contingency is there. This is your best form of protection as a buyer. Use it wisely. Step number 3, the appraisal. Running simultaneously with inspections. Your lender is ordering the appraisal. An appraisal is when a licensed independent appraiser visits the home and evaluates its market value based on recent comparable sales. That's called comps in the neighborhood. Their job is to confirm that the home is worth what you agreed to pay for. Here's why this matters. Your lender will only loan you money based on the appraisal value. not the purchase price. So if you agree to pay $900,000 for a home and the appraiser says it's only worth $850,000, your lender will base your loan on $850,000. That $50,000 gap, that's called an appraisal gap, and it has to be resolved before we close escrow. Here are the options when that happens. Option 1, negotiate with the seller to lower the purchase price to be appraised value. Option 2, you pay the difference out of pocket in cash. Option 3, meet somewhere in the middle. The seller comes down a little bit and you bring a little extra cash. Option 4, if you have the appraisal contingency in your contract and you can't reach an agreement, you can cancel and get your deposit back. This is exactly why I advise my buyers to keep the appraisal contingency in place, especially in uncertain markets. I know some agents push buyers to waive it to make their offer more competitive, and sometimes that makes sense, but I always make sure my buyers understand exactly what risk they're taking on before we make that decision. Step number 4, your loan approval. While all of this is happening, your lender is working behind the scenes on your final loan approval, also called your clear to close. Even though you got pre-approved before you started shopping, the lender still needs to go through a full underwriting process for this specific property. They'll be looking at the property itself, making sure it meets their lending guidelines, your financials one more time, verifying everything is still the same as when you were pre-approved. The appraisal confirming the value supports the loan amount. During this time, your lender is going to ask you for documents, a lot of them: bank statements, pay stubs, tax returns, letters of explanation for everything that looks unusual on your credit report. My biggest advice: respond to your lender the same day they reach out. Every day of delay is a day added to your closing timeline. I've seen escrows fall apart simply because a buyer took 4 days to send over a bank statement. I've seen escrows fall apart simply because a buyer took 4 days to send over a bank statement. And now, the most important thing I'm going to say in this entire video, please listen carefully. During escrow, do not make any major financial moves at all. Do not open a new credit card. Do not finance a new car. Do not make large cash deposits into your bank account without documentation. Do not co-sign a loan for anyone. Do not change jobs if you can possibly avoid it. I cannot tell you how many times I've seen a buyer get all the way to the finish line and then get a call from their lender saying, "We need to pause, your credit report changed." It is heartbreaking, and it is almost always avoidable. Stay boring financially until you close. Then celebrate all you want. Step 5, reviewing disclosures. During escrow, the seller is legally required to provide you with a full package of disclosures. These are documents that reveal everything the seller knows about the property and the surrounding area. In California, this is one of the most comprehensive disclosure packages in the country. It includes the Transfer Disclosure Statement, TDS. The seller answers a detailed questionnaire about everything they know about the house. Any known defects, repairs, issues with neighbors, anything that has affected the property. The Seller Property Questionnaire, SPQ. The SPQ goes deeper. The seller answers specific questions about past repairs, permits, unpermitted work, pest issues, water damage, and anything else that could affect the value of the property. Think of the TDS as the big picture and the SPQ as all the details. Read both carefully, and if you have questions about anything, that's exactly what I'm here for. The Natural Hazard Disclosure, NHD. This tells you if the property is in a flood zone, fire hazard zone, earthquake fault zone, or any other natural hazard area. In California, this is especially important given our wildfire risks. The Preliminary Title Report. This shows you who owns the property and whether there are any liens, easements, or other claims on it that need to be resolved before you take ownership. HOA documents. If the property is in a homeowners association, you'll receive the HOA financials, meeting minutes, rules and regulations, and any pending assessments or litigation. Never sign a disclosure acknowledgement without actually reading it. If you have questions, ask. That's what I'm here for. Step number 6, final walkthrough. We're almost there. One of the last steps before closing is your final walkthrough. This typically happens 5 days before your closing date, and it's your final opportunity to walk through the home before it officially becomes yours. The purpose of the final walkthrough is not to find new things to negotiate. No, it's to verify 3 things. Number 1, the condition of the home is the same as when you wrote your offer. No new damages, no missing fixtures, nothing was removed that was supposed to stay there. Number 2, any repairs the seller agreed to make have been completed. Bring your repair request and check items off one by one. Number 3, the seller has fully vacated the property and all their belongings are out, unless there's a rent-back agreement in place. If something is off during the final walkthrough, we address it before we close, not after. Once you close, the home is yours. Step number 7, closing day. And now the moment you've been waiting for, closing day. A few days before closing, you will receive the closing disclosure, a detailed breakdown of every single dollar involved in your transaction. Your loan amount, your interest rate, your monthly payment, your closing costs, your down payment, all of it, line by line. Review this carefully with your lender. Make sure the numbers match what you were expecting. If anything looks different, ask immediately. On closing day, you'll sign a lot of documents. If you're going to an escrow office in person, bring your ID. If you're doing a mobile notary, they'll come to you. Either way, budget a couple of hours of signing. After signing, you'll wire your remaining down payment and closing costs to escrow. Your lender will fund the loan, meaning they send their portion of the money to escrow as well. Once escrow has everything, all signatures, all funds, they submit the documents to the county for recording. Recording is when the deed is officially transferred into your name. And then your escrow officer calls you and they say the best words in all of real estate. We are recorded. Congratulations. The home is yours. That's the full escrow process from accepted offer to keys in hand. Let me give you the quick recap one more time. Step 1, open escrow and wire your earnest money deposit safely. Number 2, inspection. Complete your inspections and negotiate repairs. Number 3, appraisal and know your options if it comes in low. Number 4, final loan approval. Stay boring financially. Step number 5, read and understand all your disclosures. Step 6, final walkthrough. Verify everything before you sign. Number 7, closing day. Sign, fund, record, and celebrate. If you're a first-time home buyer in West Hills, Calabasas, Woodland Hills, Tarzana, Encino, or anywhere. I would be honored to be your guide through every single one of these steps. My job is to make sure you are never confused, never caught off guard, and always protected from the moment you start searching to the moment you get your keys. Call or text me anytime, 818-371-2656. You can also visit my website to learn more about how I work with buyers. And please, if this video helped you, give it a thumbs up, leave me a comment below, and subscribe to my channel. I post new real estate tips every single week, and I want to make sure you're prepared for every step of this journey. Watch parts 1, 2, and 3 of this series, all linked below, and I will see you soon. I'm Rosi Agopian, real estate broker with Beverly & Company Luxury Properties. Thank you so much for watching. See you soon.